First of all, I encrypt everything, and so I have it suspend at the point where I enter the encryption password. So when I hit the button, it comes back from suspend, but it's right there at the point where it asks for my password. I'll just put that in, don't look. And I applied the Tux on Ice kernel patch, and I found that the Tux on Ice resumes a lot faster and suspends a lot faster than the built-in Linux kernel suspend. Most of the slowness from this computer comes from, I have the flash drive, and when this light comes on, we're waiting on the flash drive. It's a lot slower than I'd like it to be. But so it comes up reasonably fast. I think that's about under a minute, which isn't too bad. I think the most important thing when you use a netbook is to do everything full screen. And with KDE, you can set a keyboard shortcut that'll make things full screen. Here's just a regular file browser menu. And I set my shortcut to be F11 because Firefox and Internet Explorer use F11, so I'm used to hitting F11 for full screen. See, I can hit F11 and it goes back and forth. Another thing that's important, I think, is to put your taskbar on the left. This netbook has a wide screen, so I wouldn't want to use up any of my real estate in this direction because it's already squunched up this way. So I have extra space in this dimension, so I put my taskbar on the left. The other thing that I think is great for using netbooks is to know all your keyboard shortcuts. Since I use Windows machines a lot, I have my shortcuts the same as the default Windows. So Control Escape brings up the start menu or whatever they call it in K. Alt Tab switches between windows. This saves a lot of time than having to go to your mouse, and it also saves screen real estate from having to have a taskbar down here. It's also great to have all your most used applications on shortcuts, like I can get to a terminal just by doing Home T. A lot of what you're going to be doing on a netbook is using a web browser. That's what you do on any computer a lot. And of course, so I have a shortcut, Home B for browser. That's going to bring up Firefox. Firefox has a lot of keyboard shortcuts that you can use that makes things easier on a netbook. So the first one that I think is really great is just Control L for location. Let me get here. And then I can just, it automatically puts me up in the location bar so I can go to where I want. Another great keyboard shortcut for Firefox is, you probably know that you can do find text as you type by hitting slash, but if you hit the single quote character, you can find links as you type. So I'm just going to type in Yemen because that's the link right there, and then you can just hit enter and it goes to that link. And that's nice on a netbook because it's hard to use this little tiny touchpad, and it's quicker. I already showed you how I start up the computer, but let me show you how I shut it down. I just have ACPI configured to run the Hibernate script when I hit the power button. So I'm just going to hit my power button, and what it's going to do is it's going to hibernate. But I've configured Tux on Ice to reboot after hibernation. So what happens is it hibernates and then it reboots to the point where it's asking for my encryption password, and then it suspends at that point. So that way I get the best of both worlds. I can have full encryption, but I also have the quick startup time. Another thing that makes that possible is the Linux kernel has an option to do a RAM check when it comes on. And basically what that does is it writes to memory, zeros, and then reads them back. Well, I want that to happen because it clears out my encryption key. So as you can see, it's booting up. I mean, at this point, the laptop would probably be in my bag and turning off on its own. What I've basically done is I've offloaded the wait time onto the back end.